Hi there, my friend. It is officially the end of the very first quarter of homeschooling with our 7th grade Abeka Homeschool curriculum. And in this video, I am going to be bringing you along with me and share with you what do I do at the end of every quarter. This year, my record keeping is a little bit different based on what I've done in the previous years. I'm going to show you what I am going to be doing at the end of every single quarter. I'll share with you what our binder looks like. How is it that I record keep for our quizzes and our tests? I'll show you how I refill it every quarter. And I'm also going to be sharing with you my record keeping for report cards. How is it that I am keeping that situated this year? And in addition to that, I'm going to be sharing with you all what are some of the changes or adjustments that we've done to our curriculum this 7th grade year. So let's go ahead and get started. So on my desk over here, I have my son's binder along with the bin that holds all the assessments that I had pre-tagged at the beginning of the school year. And I'm going to go in here and I have graded all of his work that he has completed. On these tabs over here, I have our progress reports, and these progress reports can be found in the Abeka website. So we are doing a parent-led approach this year. We are not doing the academy. So I went online and I went ahead and printed out these progress reports. Typically, I wait to the end of the quarter to fill everything in. I did start filling a couple of these out before, and I think maybe this next upcoming quarter, that's the way I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to fill them out as we go. So if you look over here, lessons 1 to 42 is the first grading period, and that is exactly how I have everything all set up just for streamlining the entire process. So I'm going to just simply come here and fill in the scores. Something I do want to say is that these quick quizzes, we did not do them. So I'm just going to cross them off because that's not going to be part of my overall average. We just didn't feel it's necessary for us to do that. So we just stick to the regular quizzes and the tests that are here, along with the practice activities that are included in the work text. Now that I'm done filling this out, I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side because I'm going to average everything later on. I like to work in batches. You know, I feel like doing the same task all at once really makes it a lot quicker, go by a lot quicker. So I'm gonna jot down all the scores first and then I'll do some averaging later. Now for English, things are looking a little bit different. We've made some adaptations this year. So when it comes to grammar, we are a little bit behind in the assessments and also for the spelling. When it comes to the literature reading quizzes, the speed comprehensions of that and that, we kind of altered things a little bit. And I'm going to share with you after I'm done doing this grading, how did we change things based on what I saw that my son was needing. So now for the averaging. For math, we didn't do the quick quizzes, so I'm not going to include that in the grade at all. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the average of all of the quizzes. So I'm going to be adding all of these up and divide them by 12. And I'm going to place that average over here. I'm going to be adding these two up, dividing by 12 and placing that average over here. Then I'm going to place whatever the average for the quiz was here, the test average here, and the exam over here, and divide all these by 3, and that will give me my final grade. So I'm going to be using my phone calculator for this. For record keeping of the 7th grade report cards and progress reports, what I did was I created a Google spreadsheet. One for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and then a final one. And what I'm going to be doing is at the end of every quarter, I'm going to go ahead and put those scores over here: arithmetic, English, science, and history. Every single quarter, that way is all in one spot. And then at the end, I'm simply going to take all the scores all together, divide each one by 4, and then put the final score over here. This just helps me keep the record right here. And when it comes time for our evaluation, I'm just printing this out. So I'm using this to keep record of what assignment got what grade, but then I'm simply coming over here and I'm keeping my records digitally on my Google Drive. All right, so Common Lit is an online type of curriculum. It is aligned to the Common Core standards, so just be aware of that. And it is a secular curriculum, so you have to be aware of that too. But if there is certain themes or certain things that you don't want to address in your homeschool, just keep in mind to preview everything that you give. But this is free for teachers, and it is also free for homeschooling parents. You just have to send them an email saying that you are a homeschooling parent. You send them your email address, your name, and then just confirm that you are who you are, and then you have access to it. So that is just something that we were doing a little bit different this first quarter, just to target certain skills that I wanted to add on to what he already had. I really wanted to, the text dependent analysis was something that I really liked to do with my students when I was a classroom teacher, and I think that's a really good skill to have. So that just helped me hone that skill in, look for that relevant evidence, do the analysis portion of it. It is really hard to do, and so that just helped me break it down a little bit and find some things in there that were high interest that we could work on that particular skill. So that's why the English component looks a little bit different this quarter. So I'm going to take the scores that he had from those 10 assignments. I think it was a total of 12 assignments that we did. 2 have not been graded yet. And I'm going to take that score and I'm going to use it for the speech/comprehension quizzes. I'm going to add that score in there, and then for the composition, I'm going to take the scores from the lessons that had to do with writing, and I'm going to put that in there. So for the composition, for the essay answer, I'm going to use, I think there's one more that we have to do that is a complete essay. So I'm going to put that as a score for the essay. For the summary, we did do a summary in there as well. And we did do a couple of paragraphs that had to do with analysis of a text. So I'm going to be adding that in there. And then I'm going to summarize or average it all together. And that's where I'm going to get my English score for this particular quarter. So things were a little bit different. We went a little bit off the grid, off of the English curriculum. Starting upcoming after Thanksgiving, we're going to pick back up. So there's a couple of things that I've already tagged to start reading after Thanksgiving. A lot of his independent reading this quarter has been the I Survived series. Like, how many books have you read, Noah? 10. He's read 10 books. That is amazing. He did the math, and it's over 1,000 pages of reading that he's done this quarter, which is the most reading he's ever done. So I'm using that as his grade as well. So I mean, for his book report, over here it says, like, you know, 1 book report. He's done several of those. So I'm going to be filling in the progress reports what he did, but he's, you know, surpassed that, which is pretty amazing to me as a mom. I'm very proud. He's doing such a good job. So yeah, I think it was really good for us to kind of go off the grid from the particular textbook to just incorporate a couple of things that were more of interesting to him than just what I thought. Typically, I store the kids' work in a folder like this. This is their writing folder, but this is what it looks like at the end of the quarter when I go do our evaluations and turn them into our evaluator. I keep like certain things in the inside over here, like the recording of the dates that we homeschooled and all that jazz. And on the sides is where I keep the tests. So for now, since I'm collecting things down here, I had these folders from a project from a couple of years ago. They are really nice. I just opened the bag because I was like, oh, I don't remember where I put the folders that I bought this year. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping this progress report thing in the front pocket of this, I'm really liking these folders. All right, in the front pocket of this. And then inside here, I'm going to put the completed tests that have been completed so far this quarter. All right, so I'm gonna come here and I'm simply going to take all of these assessments, the quizzes and the tests. I'm gonna plop my math one in there and take out all the grammar stuff that we have completed. And he was ahead in science and he had run out of his assessments in science, so I had already put some of the stuff in there. But with the science, I'm just gonna come through and remove any of the activity sheets. I usually don't keep any of that. That usually gets tossed. You know what? I'm just gonna put a little tag at the end of every subject so that later on when I'm doing this, is easy to. Once I'm done putting last quarter's work away, it's time to rip out all of the work for this upcoming quarter. Now, I did share a video where I share with you all how is it that I organize the entirety of the year so that at the end of every quarter is very simple, just to tear out up to the point where I've tagged it, and then I simply hole punch it and add it on into the binder, and we are set for a whole other quarter. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'm going to go ahead and add it in the description below so you can check it out. It's really the system that we've been using for the past 4 years of homeschooling with Abeka, and I just have to say it is super efficient. It keeps everything put together. It works very well for everyone in the family. So now we are officially ready to continue on into our second quarter of 7th grade homeschooling. How about you? What is a system or some different systems that you have tried to help yourself stay organized and keep all of your Abeka curriculum situated every single quarter? Go ahead and share that with me in the comments below. Also, if you are interested in seeing how was it that I did it last year for 1st and 6th grade, go ahead and click on this next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.